Hi, welcome back to my kitchen table for another fun art creation. Today I am doing one that's especially fun for all of my preschool and kindergarten friends. Um, I've done this in the past with them and it's always a big hit. I call it the Crazy Hair Day. It's very easy to do at home. It will need a little bit of parental guidance, but it's really fun. And my older kids, I'll show you something that you can do using the same technique at the end of the project. Okay, so for now, let me show you what you need to make this Crazy Hair Day. And I have curly hair, so lots of days my hair is crazy. Um, and this is super fun to do with the kids. They always think it's silly, and we talk about how crazy their hair is whenever they get out of bed in the morning and fun things like that. So I shake up a few of my favorite acrylic paints. If you don't have acrylic paints at home, you can use tempera. You could also use watercolor. You could use basically any kind of paint will do. We're just going to water it down, okay? I'm going to point down here, lined my countertop with newspaper today. It's probably a smart idea if you are at home to put something underneath your paper today just in case. So far we need newspaper, some kind of paint that we're going to water down. We're going to have little water cups. These are just, I recycle applesauce in little fruit cups. They're a great size for little paint cups. You can see here I watered down. I just put a little water in with my color, with my paint, and mixed it up. I like Sharpies, but you can use regular markers to draw the face. Any kind of marker will do. And I have a specific paint paper at home, although you can use construction paper, computer paper, cardstock, or multimedia paper. Any kind of paper will do for this. It'll work. Okay, and as a special treat, I did bring in some glitter. I have lots of glitter from lots of different art projects, so I'll try to use some of that up. What we're gonna do is, I'll move my paints out of the way, and I will point this down so you can see how I'm going to start my drawing. Oh, last thing we need is a straw. I have a reusable straw, but you can use any kind of straw, paper straw, plastic straw, whatever straw you have at home is fine. I'm going to point this down here so you can see my paper like usual. And we're going to start by drawing the face. Now, I'll show you her face again. It can be a boy or girl, whatever you choose, doesn't matter. We're going to make her pretty expressive. I have my person looking up at her hair, kind of like, whoa, what happened to my hair? And so I'll show you how I drew that. But you can make any kind of face you want. There is no right or wrong face for this. So I started with an open circle, almost like a U shape for my face. And you'll notice I left a lot of space up here at the top for the hair, okay? So I start like that. And then I'll give my person a neck and shoulders. I'll show you that. To start like that. So that's the beginning. I'll come back and we'll do a collar. You can do any kind of collar for your shirt, and some ears about halfway down the face. So we're starting to look like this, okay? And you can see it doesn't even matter. I mean, I'm not completely lined up at my circle or anything like that. But that's okay because the hair is going to cover it all up at the end. I'm going to do eyes, and instead of a traditional eye shape, I'm going to make my eyes pretty wide. They'll be looking up. My eyebrows will be raised, like I'm surprised. Like, what happened? And I'll do some eyelashes on there. You don't have to if you don't want to. Anything is fine. I'll bring my nose. My nose will come down between my eyes, just where it is on my face. And I'll show you how I drew my nose. It's kind of like a caricature picture nose. Nothing's super realistic about this. And then for my mouth, I'll show you how I start my mouth. So I make a round circle like this, okay? And I add some teeth to my mouth, and a tongue is in there. And you can leave your mouth like this if you want to. Maybe if you're drawing a boy, you don't want any kind of fancy lips on there, but I'm going to add lips to mine. And they're just kind of curly little lines that go right around my circle like that, okay? And that's all I'm gonna do for the face. Now, if you want freckles, you can add freckles. You want earrings, you can add earrings. You can add all different kinds of things. I am gonna draw something on my shirt. I did polka dots on my last one. Maybe I'll do some stripes on this one. So I'm just gonna take my markers and do some fun little stripes just to give my picture some color down at the bottom. But you could do stars or hearts, or I have a rainbow on my shirt today. You can make a rainbow. You can do anything you want on the person's shirt. Be as creative as you want. I'll make his collar blue or her collar blue. I don't know if this is a girl or a boy. And that's it for the shirt. I'll come back in. I'll give my tongue and lips some red. I mean, something you could do is you could make smiling lips. If you thought this was funny, you could make the person look like they were laughing. If you thought the person was sad, you could do a frowny face. You know, you can be as expressive as you want. You could have the eyes being closed. Lots of different facial expressions. I'll make my eyes blue. And the next thing that happens is the fun part. Okay, so I'll show you what I have so far. Here is what I have so far. And now we're gonna do the fun part, and we're going to add the hair. My stripes kind of made him look like maybe she's an umpire or a referee of some sort. But, all right, now for the hair. This is the fun part, and this is the part that kids always have a good time with. So we're gonna take our straw. And the trick about this is you're gonna plug your straw. You're gonna put this into your paint. I'll start with my green paint. I'm gonna put it down here so you can see. But I'm gonna plug the top part of my straw, put it in the paint, plug it at the top, come over and drip some paint, some green paint. Doesn't matter where, but I usually do at the top of her hair first, and then I will come down and blow on it, which makes really fun squiggly paint lines. And the more you blow on the paint, the longer the hair will grow on your project. Okay, so I'm going to put this down so you can really see how it goes. I'll use my blue next. Put it into the paint, plug the top of your straw, and just add some drips to your paper. If this is tricky for the younger kids, moms or dads or grandmas or whoever you're with, you can use a spoon to drip the paint. And you can see my colors are blending together, which is super fun. I just chose some bright colors. It doesn't matter what colors you use. Any color is fine. I'll add some orange in here. Make this hair really bright and colorful. And I have one more color, which is red, that I'll use. Put some red down here and up here. There we go. And you can see that I made a really, really fun head of crazy wild hair. It looks like this. Now I'll come back over here and I have some glitter. Now you don't need glitter, but I think it gives it a little extra fun for this kind of hair, this little project. And I just pour it on my paint while my paint is still wet, so it'll adhere to it. And then if your paint's a little drippy, if you want, you can always tilt your paper and have your paint run down the sides a little bit. Mixing, you'll see that glitter moving. You can add lots of movement to your hair if you like, okay, if your paint is still dripping. And you'll see I used the paper towel so that it would catch any of the extra drips and it didn't roll off onto my countertop. But the good news is this paint is really watered down and you can wash it off of your countertop. Here is my finished project. Really fun. Oh, she looks like she's crying. I got a little blue drip on her eye. But you can see these two. They're fun. You can give as much or as little hair as you want. They're just something fun to do, and it creates a wild, fun, bright, happy look. Now, for my older kids who might want to experiment and not just do the crazy hair day part of it with a person, you can actually use a piece of paper, all the drippy paints that you want. You can be really creative and use yarn and add yarn to it if you yarn at home. Or just use the paint, and you can create a really fun, abstract, really bright piece of artwork when it's dry. Okay, so I'll show you how I would do something like this. So I did mix a little black for this portion of this project, just because I think it's a really nice contrast against all the bright colors, but you don't have to. Any colors work. So it's the same kind of thing, only I come through and I'm gonna drip it kind of high up so it's like big splatters. I'm kind of splattering out here. And then, you know, if you have paper towel nearby, you'll want to wipe that off a little bit, and I'm gonna add some other colors. And I'm kind of splattering them on here too. Change colors. There is no right or wrong to this. Abstract can be anything. Abstract is not a person or a place or a thing per se, or even a shape necessarily, which just makes it really fun to do. And I'll add some orange, just a little bit, I think, of orange. And I'll add a little red in here, and I think I'm gonna come back in and add a little more black. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a little more black. And then you'll start. You can turn your paper. You can see the paint really is moving here. And I'll turn my paper again. And I would encourage you, if you want to, if you have time, to look up some abstract artists. One person that I like to think about when I think about abstract art is Jackson Pollock's really cool splatter paint. You could look him up and see what some of his artwork look like if you have time. All right, So this is what I have done, which is really pretty cool. There, it started dripping again. You can always tilt it and make your paint move all over this paper. Drip off all the sides. Come down even to the edges. And you have a really cool piece of artwork. I'm going to add a little more blue. I don't see a lot of blue. I think a lot of my blue got mixed in. So I'm going to add a little more. And that's the nice thing about this too. Is it's really what you want it to look like. Just a little fun technique for you guys to try one day when you're, you know, not doing much or feeling like it's a rainy, yucky day or something. Really cool. 2 really cool projects you can do just by dripping some paint and adding some fun color. I hope you guys have a good time trying this one out. See you soon.